So, judging by how you clicked on this video, you are either part of two groups. Group A, the new boys on the block, who started watching anime but also don't want to invest that much time into the genre. Or Group B, you have many years of anime experience under your belt and are looking for ways to have time to do other things while also watching 2 entire anime series in a given day. There's also Group C. You are here because you find me entertaining, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, no one is here for me. If any of these scenarios are hashtag relatable, well, do I have the product for you? With these simple tips and tricks, you'll be able to watch any anime show while investing multiple hours in your day, while also keeping up with your anime friends as to not feel left out of the conversation whenever they say, "Oh, this show is amazing. They have fight scenes that are epic," and you have to say in a monotone voice, "Actually, I haven't seen it," and watch as they immediately step away from you and discuss due to how uncultured you are. Now, enough talking, let us begin our lesson. So like any lesson, we gotta lay out our foundation first so we can start expanding our knowledge. So first off, we will be using what I like to call the average anime, which is a show that is 12 episodes long and roughly 24 minutes for today's example. These types of shows are the most common in every new season and are what most people will start with. I'll be referring to One Punch Man Season 1 as I feel like that's what most people will be drawn into. Thanks to my research indicating the anime audience is generally the teenagers, and this is a type of show that will shine with this method. Secondly, if you enjoy the show, just watch it. Don't get pressured into watching something because you want to fit in. Take your time to enjoy the work. This method I'll be teaching you mainly applies to the other groups as they have lost the power to watch 50 episodes in 2 hours. And plus, if you watch this show at your own pace, the conversation with your other anime friends will be more in-depth. So, good bonding experience right there. Bonding level 50. Now with that out of the way, intros. Every anime has an opening and ending song, but let's be real here. Most of you will hear it once and then skip it the rest of the season. By subconsciously doing this, you have saved at least 3 minutes of your time. Add that up, you have saved at the low end 30 minutes of your time to do other things. Do keep in mind that at the beginning and end of the series, they like to have it run the full 24 minutes and put the opening song at the end if there's a battle or important plot device that signals for season 2. While on the topic of beginning and ends, every episode likes to do a short 30-second recap of the last episode, starting from episode 2 of course, mainly focusing on what happened towards the very end, so you can theoretically not watch the last few minutes of episode 1 and get the recap in episode 2. Or if you're like me, skip both of them and figure out from context what happened in those last 2 minutes. A double-edged sword, but it is the most optimized way to watch anime if you're just watching a show because you need to cross it off your bucket list. The next logical step after this is to, of course, this is where the optimization kicks up a gear, and it's how you'll save the most amount of time. Many anime fans will not enjoy this technique because you're not appreciating the story or animation or lore, but if you're just watching a show to get it over with, say any modern isekai for example, 2x speed it, you get the gist of what's happening and still have the ability to hold a conversation about the show with someone, a win-win situation. This brings our 24-minute video down to 12 minutes, effectively cutting it in half, and combined with the 2 minutes we take up at the end of every episode, starting from episode 2, but for simplicity, we're going to add episode 1 in there, and 3 minutes from the OST and EST. This roughly brings our time spent on each episode down to 7 minutes, close to a 70% reduction. My god. With just these methods alone, you could watch close to 3 anime episodes in the time that the average person watches 1. If the average series takes 228 minutes, give or take, that's 3 hours and 48 minutes, for 12 episodes at 24 minutes, the tips and tricks will, in the long run, reduce that down to 94 minutes, or an hour and 34. You can literally almost watch 3 completely different 12 episode anime series with the time you saved. Well, we can do better. First off, do what I do. So don't watch the beginning part of the recap and don't watch the last 2 or so minutes of the ending. The 30-second adds up to around 6 minutes for a 12 episode series, so if I have my math right, we take away the 6 from the 94, which gives us 88 minutes, which is an hour and 28 minutes. If you do have the option, change the language settings to your native tongue. That way you don't need to focus on reading subtitles. If the show is stuck in long dialogue, do what I like to call frame skipping. You basically press the arrow keys a few times to make make them move along with it, saving you a few seconds, but it also has the benefit of you still knowing what's going on. Do keep in mind that you might cross over your buffer, and in case you do, you'll be stuck loading the next part for X amount of time depending on your internet, so never pass the buffer. If any of the scenes have really heavy dialogue, scrub through the footage and see if the scene changes, and if not, just skip to the next episode and watch the recap. The storyboard likes to take extra time to recap important parts. And finally, my one last trick, my magnum opus of speedrunning shows of any kind. This technique has been passed down in my family for generations, and it's about time the world knows about it. This technique can reduce the watch time of any anime show down to minutes, but at the cost of memory overload and better PC parts. Simultaneously watching. Not a really cool name, yes I know that, but here is how it works. By splitting the anime episodes into clips, so let's say we take the 24-minute video and divide it into 4 clips, we get 4 clips that are 6 minutes long. We then apply my teachings to each clip, effectively turning each episode into just 3 minutes. Scale this up and you can theoretically watch the entire season in just a few minutes. This setup is kind of lucrative as you need to watch the same episode on separate tabs and you gotta arrange them to be all in the same time frame, so each one of them must only play 6 minutes. But if done correctly, you will become a god of anime, transcending space and time. You'll awaken your 25th eye and have all the fancy eye patterns from Naruto on you. I find this to work best with anime movies, say the Eva series. So here's an example. You're like an old anime fan, like a really old anime fan, and Eva 4.0 was just announced, I think sometime last month. You were super hyped because back then Asuka was your waifu or whatever and you loved the series. But then you realize something. The last Eva movie came out 9 years ago and each one of them spans from an hour 30 minutes to 2 hours and 30 minutes, so that's a huge commitment. That's like a day's worth of watching Eva movies back to back. You can get a quick refresher in no time with this technique, as I'm sure that you in particular lost the ability to consume 50 episodes in 2 hours and probably have a life outside of anime. You don't even need to use the previous tips and tricks with the whole skip everything. You just need to use the simultaneously watching, divide it into 4 spaces, and then you're good. This way you will capture every detail about the Eva series, while also spending the least amount of time on the Eva series. And to get back to what's most important, the new season on How to Not Summon a Demon Lord. It currently has a 7.28 rating, so it has to be good. The drawback from this is memory overload. Most brains cannot handle that much information all at once, especially if you're doing it in sub. This is why I recommend it for movies, as season shows will have your brain collapse into a black hole due to how dense it has become from all the information pouring into you. Like imagine doing this with Naruto. First off, the computer you would need to run like many tabs, many multiple tabs is unimaginable. The amount of RAM you have to use just to keep Google Chrome from not crashing itself will be astronomical. Supercomputers won't be able to handle the processing power of rendering that many Naruto episodes all at once. And with that, all of my knowledge has been passed on to you. How you use my teaching is all up to you. Your anime watching experience has always been in your hands. If you one day find someone in the exact same shoes that you're in right now, send them this video and tell that person to go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe if they want more advice from a casual anime watcher. Okay, that's about it. My name is Apolic. Thanks for attending my TED Talk. I forgot to mention this, but this is a paid subscription, so if you haven't already, you gotta drop a subscription to let me know that you have paid for this course. If you want to send some donations, leave a like on this video. That way I won't send the IRS to you or any of the high-ranking government officials because I don't know what country you're from. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you all later.